Hey guys, Siha here, and for those of you who don't know who I am Jennifer's fiance, and I wanted to take some time today to talk to you about why I support her 100%, and also for you guys to get to know who I am and where I come from, and why LuLaRoe has been such a blessing in our lives and hopefully your lives. And I just want to kind of dive deep into who I am as a person and why I believe LuLaRoe has been such a great opportunity. And not only that, but it's just been such a good experience, a positive experience for me so far. So you're gonna get to know who I am, so you get to have a connection with me independent of Jennifer. Jennifer and I are getting married on October 7th, 2017, and I'm so excited about that. We are perfect in every single way, even through all of the flaws and all of the things that make us mad about each other. There's so much beauty in who we are, and I'm just so in love with her. And I'm so excited to spend the rest of my life with her and marry her on the 7th of October this year, which is happening in a couple months, or less than 2 months. But I also want to talk about the reason why I believe LuLaRoe, the brand itself, and what the community stands for, from what I've experienced and what it's evolved into from what I've experienced, and why it makes so much sense for me to share this with you, and why I continue to do LuLaRoe and help Jennifer as much as possible. LuLaRoe is about strengthening families and blessing lives and strengthening families. And my history stems from my parents and my family. I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, and my parents came to America in the late 70s from the Khmer Rouge regime. They're refugees from the Khmer Rouge regime, and they told me stories growing up about things in their life that made them strong people now. And if you don't know anything about the Khmer Rouge regime, I'll just give you a brief history about it. It was this dictator named Pol Pot decided that the whole country started from ground zero, and he would kill off every intellectual person and every religious person, anyone that brought prosperity and kindness to the community. So he killed off doctors, police officers, monks, teachers, anyone that brought any sort of positive contribution to society. He killed them off because he believed that the world deserved to be equal and everyone had to work in labor camps. And the result of that, over 2 million people got killed, and my grandfather was murdered from little teenagers that carried AK-47s because he was the chief of police in his community. There's a story that my parents told me about my oldest sister. At the time, she was an infant, and my mom and my dad and my oldest sister, her name's Sandy, they were all crossing a bridge to go across to their next destination, and these teenage Khmer Rouge soldiers came up to them and demanded that my mom throw Sandy, my infant, she was an infant at the time, my oldest sister, demanded that she throw her over the bridge. And as traumatic as that sounded, the teenage soldier was that serious about it for whatever reason. So my parents were extremely devastated and didn't know how to handle something like that, because there were guns aimed at them to do that. And luckily my father was a great man, and he knew the soldier that was watching over the watchtower, and he radioed in, say, "Hey, don't mess with them. I know that man," who was my father. "Don't let them pass." So as a result, they all passed the bridge and escaped that confrontation. And they would do things like this all the time. Things that really challenged and made the face of humanity so embarrassing to be part of. And this other time when my whole family, my aunts, my uncles, my grandma Ross Chanbo, who passed away early this year, peacefully in her sleep. I think about her every day. She and all my family were crossing into Thailand to escape into Thailand for refuge. And as they were doing that, there was a lot of Cambodians just running into the jungle, trying to escape to the next border or to the next destination where they could feel safe. And the soldiers, they were lined up, the Khmer Rouge soldiers were lined up, and they were all aiming their guns at the giant group. There was hundreds of Cambodians trying to escape this crazy experience, and they were saying in the loudspeaker, "If you don't stop running, we're gonna open fire and kill all of you." And so their guns were getting ready, cocked and loaded, and these Khmer Rouge soldiers, ranging from little kids to old seniors, old elderly people, they were forced to do this, or else they would get killed. And the guy said 3, 2, 1, and then they opened fire and mowed down so many people. And my aunts, my grandma, my parents, everybody was in that group, and luckily none of them got hit. It was like an angel was watching over them and helping them cross. And the only thing that happened was my uncle felt a bullet swing by right next to his ear and shaved a little mini piece of his ear. And that was that. And my grandpa was murdered because he was a chief of police, and he was murdered by these 14-year-old kids that were ordered to take him out of the hut that he was living in, that my family had built for the time that they were being forced to work in labor camps. And he spoke to my dad intimately about having my father take care of our family, because he knew his fate would come to the guns of the Khmer Rouge. And my father kept his promise since then, when he came to America to help build the legacy that we have now. And so my father, when he came to Chicago with my family, he upheld his promise to my grandfather and helped thousands of people, not only our family. And I have beautiful siblings, 2 older sisters, Sandy and Bori, and my older brother Chet. They're all beautiful people, and we all have very unique personalities, and they're all contributing to society with their beautiful selves. And I feel blessed every morning knowing that I have a family the way that I have. And so my father was able to help thousands of families during his time when he was in when he was working in Chicago, to help people get citizenships and mobilize their families and start a new life in America. And when my family came to America, they didn't know a word of English. They learned a little bit actually from the Thai refugee camps, but it wasn't enough for them to speak fluently to any American citizen when they came to Chicago in the late 70s, early 80s. So every day I wake up, I think, why do I wake up? Why do I do what I do? I think about my family and what my grandfather spoke to my father about, to watch over the family and continue a legacy without him. And I think about that every single day. And LuLaRoe, tying this back to my history and where I'm from, and why I'm here today talking to you, is because my family came here with the will to survive. And whatever it took, they wanted to bless the lives that they were surrounded by and overcome challenges that were beyond them that they never expected to happen. And that's what life is about. And LuLaRoe is about strengthening families and blessing lives. And to me, everybody is beautiful when you have the opportunity to see that. And beauty comes from within, and it's not something that's external that you get. And LuLaRoe has really brought that community and that culture into the lives of people that are so amazing. And when you are your best self every day, when you're your best self in the moment, in that moment, it doesn't need to be every day, but you can throw on a Carly, you can throw on an Amelia, you can throw on some leggings and feel really good about yourself. And when you can do that, you can achieve whatever it is that your goal is for that day, or whatever, how big it is. And I firmly believe that LuLaRoe's culture and the way that they present the culture with this beautiful clothing that helps people feel special and helps people know that exactly who they are is good enough. That is such a beautiful thing, and it's something that I've adopted in my own life and grown to have so much kindness and compassion in with Jennifer. And it's evolved into something bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just love that we can contribute to your life in whatever small way or whatever big way that we can with the clothing that we offer and talk to you about. And so that's really a glimpse of why I continue to support Jennifer, and I myself am wanting to connect with you on an independent level of why I continue to do what I do with LuLaRoe, with the shipping, to the pictures, to the videos, to the education, anything that's pertaining to this community of people is just such a beautiful thing. You deserve to be beautiful and feel fabulous and feel great about who you are. You don't need to be anyone else. And that is why I love what I do. And I want to connect with you on that level. So I hope I can learn more about you. You learned a little glimpse about who I am and where I'm from. And I hope that we can continue this relationship.